So today we're going to take the dashboard and the steering column out of the car, carpet, all that dumb stuff. This was already off. If you look back here, once you pull your headlight stuff out, there's just a couple screws behind this and then a few in the bottom. So that just comes off. They're all 7mm head on this dashboard. And then you just start. If you're ever doing a car, like a newer car, you have to get the dashboard out, say to do a heater core or something, you're better off looking for a one main disconnect, like one main harness where you can pull the whole dashboard assembled. In this case, there's no wipers on this car. The headlight switch, I don't know if I'm going to use a switch or just put a pod on the a switchboard on a roll cage. All this stuff's not going to be reused. All this is going to get cut out to fit gauges and fit some custom stuff we're going to make in there. So I'm going to disassemble the whole thing. I'm going to start with the steering column. If you look under here, you'll see that you have a bolt up in here, bolt up here. Those are your two main bolts for the steering column. And then you have a connect that's bolted through the firewall that actually pulls it out. You can see up in there, and then on the outside there is there's two disconnects. You can pull here or you can pull under here. So bolt in there, just rotate the column. All right, so let's get the bolts out of this. Once we drop that little section, we'll get to work on this part. Just rotate the column if you have to, which it's locked. So. I gotta put the key in on this one, unlock it. I was able to get it, so it's fine. Because I'm just too lazy to go get the key. I'll just walk this back. Okay, then that takes care of that. You can see the bolts coming through the firewall here. 3 of them. Those hold the base of that column up, but we'll get the harness all disconnected first. Most of these plugs can only go one way, so you don't have to be crazy about marking them, but like I say in every video, it never hurts to mark stuff or bag stuff and label it. The more organized, the better it is. Sometimes you will end up going, you know, sometimes a year or 2 years. If you're like me on this car, 15 years, whenever it is, however long it's been. So it doesn't hurt to just keep stuff marked and go from there. Like I said, I've done a ton of these, so I pretty much know where all these harnesses go and what a lot of the wires are and stuff, but everybody does it, so always hang on to that. But you got one main disconnect on the column here that does your turn signals, your wiper and everything. Down here, you'll see that you have, this is your high beam switch on the end here. You get that unplugged. None of this is going to get reused, so I'm just pulling it out here. But next to the pedal, you'll see there's a part of the sound dampening. They just have clips on them. You just pull them back. And then you see your 4. I made a mistake. You can see your 4 bolts in there. 4 10mm head bolts. Don't forget, most of the stuff on this car is metric on the inside. And you'll see that if you have a column shifter, it's going to stick it. Once this is down, you can also grab the rest of your wire harness here. It's easier when it's on the ground. And here's your last 3 pieces. So your neutral safety switch is right there. That's what that 2-wire pin is. And then you got the rest of the multi-function, ignition, key on, all that good stuff. Like I said, here's your high beam, neutral safety, and then this and the one harness on the bottom is all from, if you got multi-function switches, your horn, everything's all tied into this. Always grab a wiring diagram if you can. If you guys did notice, something fell out here. This is actually a shim. Where'd it go? There it is. It's actually a shim, where they shim the column to make it straight. I'm most likely not reusing this. I'm just going to get a Motion Raceworks column and put some turn signals on it so I can still street drive it a little bit. And that's it for the column. Like I said, you'll see the little piece from your shifter linkage if you have a column shift. Right here. And that's it. All right, and then like I said, on these cars, they do switch. So 7mm head bolts, take these out, and then the dash cluster, 1/4 inch. You can ram a 6 on there, but 1/4 inch fits way better. These are the mixed gear cars. So I just grab what's needed. And I already had the speedo out. There's your more wire harnesses. Again, this stuff normally can only go one way. This was for the rear defroster originally. None of that, I don't have any of that stuff in this car anymore, so it doesn't matter. And then you just keep going. Where the back of these are, and if you look in here, these harnesses, wire harness, like the female, the receiving end of this is actually locks into the dash. It makes it really easy to install and extol. Makes it really easy to install and uninstall. And then you get the main frame of this thing out. Check that camera if you guys can see that. Yeah, so you just pull all these out. And you normally have to push these harnesses back. And all this stuff I'm going to hang on to, even though I'm going to cut a lot of it, and probably just use Lexan and make the H clusters or whatever I'm going to do. I haven't really decided yet. A lot of that stuff I just kind of do on the fly. Now I'm just getting the harnesses off the back. There's 2 7mm on the back of these. All right, pull the rest of that vent through, get your defrost harness through, and then that piece is out. Now you got a little more room. And up in here are the T20 Torx. Once that's out, come back to the top, and your speaker panels pop out. Be careful not to slip and break your windshield. They are tight. And then you got another Torx there. Speaker stuff I'm going to leave right in there, but you'll see that you've got another one of those T20s. So we'll take that out next. Grab that one. Okay, and there are one more big Torx in there. Again, just be careful when you're using like power tools, you don't slip and then ram into the windshield. This is the original glass in the car. I'm trying to keep it. All right, if you guys look up in here, you will see that there's a bolt right here. That's one of your main dash bolts. You have to get your parking brake disconnected. So to do that, I'm gonna try and hold this the best I can. Just pull this back and slip this right out. Then we just grab a screwdriver and slide this right out of there. Actually, I don't have a screwdriver, but I have this long bit in my hand. So let me see if I can do it with that. You guys see that? And you just push this over and right out. That'll release that. Then you got a 10mm on the corner here. You'll have the same on the other side. So those are the next two. Right now onto the passenger side. Bolts in there. If you guys can see it, it's right here. If not, it's really the only 10mm bolt in that area right there. So okay, that's that one. Once you're done with that, come back to the center. You'll see that there's two more. There's two 10s up in here and that hole in the middle there, which if you have the radio out, which I was explaining before, if you have this stuff out of your way, they stick up right in here. These are the main brackets that go back to the top and the firewall. This will stay separate. Pretty self-explanatory. All right, once that third 10mm out on the bottom, that's it. The dash will come back. I don't care about the vents. If you want to disconnect these, You just unscrew them from here. Now, you guys can't see that. You unscrew the back of it from here. Actually, I'll do it so you guys can see. You look in here. There's little 7s in there. You pop those out. All right, when you lean it back, you'll see if anything is holding you up. Here is the vent, so we're just going to unscrew this. Just so you don't break it. And then the dashboard comes back. You can just connect the rest of your wire harnesses and you are all set. Save again, if you're, I'm not going to have a stereo, but mark your speaker cables so you know it's the right side. I don't know what harnesses you guys have. Your radios have probably been changed by now. You see a bunch of this stuff is starting to fall apart. Now we're going to get this wire harness out. So the rest of this harness was just 2 bolts here. There's only these 2. That one wasn't anything. And then you have your whole chime module and crap sitting here. We'll get that disconnected. And then we just got a 10 over here for some aftermarket grounds from stuff that was in the car. Used to be a line lock and aftermarket radio and all that cool stuff you do when you're 18 years old and when you're 41 years old. Doesn't really change. Okay. And then that removes the dash. Again, your vents, main brackets, whatever you're still going to use, keep. Fuse box is in there. And then next we will get started. We'll get all this cleared out, organize all these parts, and then we will get the rest of the interior out, get the glass out, and then get the body off the thing.